Good afternoon, everyone. Am I audible to you? Yes? Yeah. So we'll be starting the class now. Okay. Um Actually, by last class, I thought of ending this DC Pandey Vijay without say, but I couldn't extend the class. Okay. So we'll do it the next doubt solving session. It will be on Wednesday, right? On Wednesday, we'll continue with DC Pandey doubts. Okay. Today we'll be starting with the new chapter, and I have to start it because we are lagging behind in syllabus. Lagging behind in the sense according to the schedule. Okay, according to the planned schedule, we are lagging behind in the syllabus. So we'll have to speed up things. Okay, so we're starting a new chapter today, but I hope all of you are comfortable with motion in 2D, the basic part, right? किसको कोई दिक्कत है motion in 2D में? Does anyone have any issue with motion in 2D? No, right? I think you're basically comfortable with. Obviously, you'll have some. You might come across some difficult problems which you have to come across and which you have to learn by practicing only. But in general, the concepts and all, I hope you are clear with it. Okay. So, yeah. So what we'll do is we'll start with a new chapter today, Newton's laws of motion. You can call it anyway, Newton's laws of motion, dynamics, etc. It is generally called as Newton's laws of motion. All of you by now should know what the Newton's laws are. There are three Newton's laws: Newton's first law, second law, and third law. Okay. So I'll not be going into the definition part. All of you already know it. Okay. First law, second law, and third law. First law is for law of inertia. Now, what does that law of inertia state? It is basically a condition for when there is no force. If force is equal to zero, first law के हिसाब से क्या होगा? If force is equal to zero, the net force, okay, the net force acting on the body is zero. Then the body at rest will continue to be at rest, and the body in motion will continue to be in the same uniform motion. Yes? नहीं होगा. That's the first case, simple, first law. Then second law, what is second law? Can anyone tell me what second law is? Second law will relate what? The net force acting on a particle is directly proportional to rate of change of momentum. Rate of change of momentum, and the momentum it refers to P, but symbol is P, and momentum will be equal to mass into acceleration. Sorry, mass into velocity. And this you will get it as equal to force is equal to mass into acceleration. That's second law. Okay, we'll have to focus a bit on second law by making use of vectors. We'll go into that. Okay, but this is what you know. And then comes the third law. Third law is one very interesting one. It is what? For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. Then there are some important points when it comes to Newton's third law. Action and reaction are forces. They are equal in magnitude and act in opposite directions. That is, if one is positive, the other will automatically be negative. They will be equal in magnitude. They will be acting on two different bodies. Main point. They will be acting on two different bodies. So you know what Newton's laws of motion are. Their statements you already know. You understood them. Okay? Now we'll be going into them in more detail. And this chapter particularly is more focused on numericals. मतलब ऐसा कुछ है ही नहीं इसमें, बस force ही और कुछ नहीं. You know what force is? आधा syllabus यही खत्म हो गया. आधा theory सामने है आपके. First law, second law, and third law. That's half of Newton's laws of motion in terms of theory. The other part we'll be going into is different type of forces, as in friction. All of you know what friction is, right? All of you know what friction is. But what we will be doing is we'll be going into a formula for friction, different types of friction and their formulae, how they work, how they act, and all. One force. The other comes the force due to a string. we call it as tension. Tension ये क्या होगा? Force due to a string. ठीक है? So that's one. Then we'll be learning about friction. Then comes normal reaction. We'll be learning about all of them one by one. String मतलब रस्सी, simple, any thread, any rope. ठीक है? Then we'll come across spring force. ठीक है? And then so these are the basic type of forces which we'll be coming across in this chapter. Obviously gravitational force भी होगा, but I think you already know what gravitational force is. Gravitational force क्या होगा? It is equal to mg because of Earth, or exactly speaking, it is g m1 m2 by r square. Right, you already know this. Right? But in this chapter, we'll not be going into g m1 m2 by r square. We'll be restricting ourselves to mg by Earth. Okay? So different types of forces, their effects and all. Once this is done, like that's the second part. And इसमें एक और part होगा, forces in case of circular motion. Again, this is not